Hey, how's it going? If you're new here, my name is Jan, and I love makeup. And if you're not new, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate you. Today is part 1 in my eyeshadow collection declutter video. I started with all of my mini palettes, so I'm not going to spend too much time yammering about most of them, some of them, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Similar to my other declutters, these already have homes. So don't fret, they're not going in the garbage. They're going to somebody who will love them and take care of them and appreciate them like I have not. All right, let's just get into it. First up, I have this little 4-pan Makeup Geek, I don't know, quad I put together. I have another one here somewhere. So I have these two. I love the yellowy gold with the purples. So I think I might, you know what? I think I'm gonna keep both of these. They're the only Makeup Geek eyeshadows I have. So I feel like I should keep them. I did not see that coming. Next, I have the Haus Labs Glam Room #1 palette. This was when Haus Labs is on Amazon, which, you know what? This palette is darn good. Like, actually good. Not knock your socks off, spectacular, new and different, but very, very good. And I just saw that Refer is selling their sponges on Amazon, which I think is very, very cool. I won't talk about that here. Anyway, I'm gonna hang on to this one. I don't pull it out that much, but it is very, very nice, and I do like it. Next, I have the Odin's Eye Bird palette. I kept this because this green is phenomenal, but I did not reach for this once in 2023, so I am going to let it go, Elsa. Let it go. Oh, I have this little 4-pan mini Pat McGrath Eye Ecstasy Sublime eyeshadow palette. Can I get it open? It's very old, and I never reach for it. And they're beautiful. I really like them, but I'm gonna let this go too. I have the mini Pat McGrath 6-pan purple palette. This is really good. I mean, silly because of the size, but also really pretty and nice. So it's super similar to the Haus Labs one, weirdly enough. Maybe I could do a comparison on the two. Would that be interesting? Like side by side? Let me know. I'm keeping it. And then we have the Urban Decay Basics Naked 2. I bought this mini one for the YouTubers raved about these products video. I'm not gonna keep this. It's fine, I'm sure, but nothing I need in my life. I have the Dose of Colors Mauves palette. This is so pretty. I just never use it. The quality is fantastic. I'm gonna let it go. Somebody else could really get some good use out of it. We have my Tarte Maneater palette. I think I'll keep this one forever. This was my go-to palette just for everything. This has gone everywhere with me. I love this palette. It's so good. So I'm gonna hang on to it. I have the Nabla Cutie palette, and this is the Metropolitan. That seemed very hard to say. I had a bunch of these. I thought they were absolutely adorable. I love the color story. Have not reached for it. It needs to not be scratched all the heck by me. It needs a new home. I obviously cannot be trusted. We have the Juvia's Place I Live, I Love. I live and love this color story, but I just don't reach for these. There's not enough. Which I guess I could. Oh, you know. I think this one's gonna survive one more. Maybe I can mix and match with palettes, which is something I've started doing, but didn't used to do. In fact, I didn't used to think it was okay at all. I would get very upset if I saw somebody using 2 different eyeshadow palettes for a look. Like, why? Because it's fun. That's why. Next, we have the Sweet Pinks by Juvia's Place. These are very, very pretty. But I don't reach for it, and I think it will have a better life someplace else. Next, I think this is my only ColourPop palette. It's the Smoke Show. They had to rename this to Blow and Smoke. I'm gonna hang on to this one. I really like this palette a lot. Like a lot. And then I have the Nomad and Malibu little quad. Definitely keeping this. I love it. I have the Encenadas one as well. Again, fantastic palette. Really good for just whacking on a quick look. And then I have 2 mini palettes from Gloss Gods. It's top 4. So here's top, which I used the black in once. These came in the Gloss Gods Advent Calendar. So I'm gonna keep them because I haven't had a chance to use them yet, or use them much. And this is 4, which I haven't used at all. It's very pretty. So yeah, these are gonna stay this round. I have 2 Wayne Goss palettes. This is the Pearl Moonstone palette. I think I'm gonna hang on to these for now. I used the Tourmaline one recently, and I really liked mixing it with another palette. So perhaps I could do that with the blue one as well. We'll see. I can always declutter it next time. Not a big deal. Next, we have all 6 of the LA Girl Foreplay palettes. I'm going to let these go. The ones I tried are very good. I liked them a lot. In fact, this green one was fantastic. But I don't reach for them. I have these same shades over and over and over and over again in my eyeshadow stash, so it seems silly to hang on to palettes that I'm not going to reach for, which means I should probably reconsider the Wayne Goss. They're just so pretty to look at. I'm going to make a decision about the Wayne Goss at the end. We'll start a maybe pile. Next up, I have my Natasha Denona minis. This is ridiculous. I did take a bunch of these ones that are magnetic out and put them in a larger palette. So I have 3 left. They're not what they're supposed to be. They're mixed and matched. I just don't reach for these. And I think I have almost all of the minis. I have the Mini Love. I have the Mini Biba still in the box. I have the Mini Gold still in the box. I have the Mini Metropolis, the Mini Xenon, the Mini Retro, the Mini Lila, yep, the Mini Lila, the Mini Zendo, and the Mini Glam. I don't use any of these. They need a new home. While they are still usable, I have 2 still in the box. Nope. All right. These are all gonna go. Every one of them. I don't need them. I'm not gonna use them. Somebody else can. I'm going to declutter the 2 Wayne Goss palettes as well. I've just decided. Kind of because they're still usable. I don't want to hang on to them and not use them until nobody can use them. So let me figure out how many of my mini palettes I'm keeping and how many I'm getting rid of, and I'll come back and let you know. All right, I'm getting rid of 26 mini palettes and keeping 11. That seems good, right? Here's hoping. All right, I've got the next batch ready to go, and I decided to go with brands. So these are all of my Odin's Eye. I have Angelica's Hella palette. I have Angelica's Trick or Treat palette. I have Angelica's Little Ghost palette, and they're all staying. I like Angie. I don't know her personally. Obviously, we're on a first name basis in my head. But I like her content, and I like that she seems real and smart, and I don't know. I just like her. I've liked her for a long time. I have all 4 of the Christmas palettes. So I have the Merry Christmas from last year, the Christmas Eve from last year. I have the Hey Reindeer and the Snow Dream from this year. I've only used the Christmas Eve, Hey Reindeer, and Snow Dream a few times because I was trying to use as many things as I could through the holidays. So I do think I'm going to want to play with those some more as it starts to warm up and spring gets here, because the color stories here. I wasn't going to show you everything, but this feels like it could be very springy, right? I mean, that one and this one, all of them genuinely can be used whenever, but they look like they could be fun when it's warmer outside. So I don't just use my palettes for the season they are made for. That would be weird. If you do, no judgment. I'm just saying for me. Next, I have the Solomon 2 palette, and this is such a nice palette. I really like this one. Yeah, I'm going to keep that one as well. And then I also picked up the Jewels and Gems this year. It's a really pretty, cool tone, wearable, if you will, palette. So I'm going to keep that one as well. And I have Stone and Rock, of course, because, that's what I do. And this one's so pretty too. Very like the Nomad Okavango palette, but this one's gonna stay for now. Who knows what my next declutter will bring. But next up is the Saga of Freya. Again, it's the greens with the orange. I love this pairing. I just never ever reach for this palette, so I'm going to declutter this one. And then in this random MDZ palette, I have a bunch of the singles Odin's Eye released last year, and I'm going to hang on to all of these as well. I've reached for this a few times, so that's been really fun. And then I have the 3, they were called something, but it's the Sea Talk palette from Lauren May Beauty. So cute. I love this. And I really like Lauren. And then we have the Flora Story from Makeup Just for Fun. Very pretty, muted color story. Really pretty. And then Planet Spirit from Betty Bean. I used this one and was so excited. It was such a fun time with that shadow. So I'll be keeping these as well. And then we have my Glamlight palettes. I don't have a whole lot from Glamlight. I have the second rendition of the Hershey's palette. This is the milk chocolate regular one. I decluttered the Hershey Kisses one last year simply because it was a smaller palette and shaped like a Hershey Kiss. So it was tricky to store and not enough options. So I decluttered that one, but the quality was fantastic. And this is that good. And then I have the Cookies and Cream as well. So there's that. I have playlists on my channel with all of the palettes that I've played with broken down by brand, if you're interested. And I also did all the new palettes I tried this year. That's a whole video that I did recently. If I think of it, I'll link it in the description box in case you want to check it out. Then we have the Scooby-Doo Rut Row Raggy palette. I've only used this once, I think, so I gotta get some more use out of that. And then we have the Creeps and Crawls, which again, I think I've only used once. So gonna use that some more. And I have the Wine palette. It's cute, but I think I'm going to let it go this time. I couldn't last time. I didn't reach for it all, and I do have other purple palettes that I really enjoy, so I'm gonna say bye-byes to that one. And then we have the Strawberry Shortcake palette. This was my second purchase of this palette. But look how cute it is. Oh, I just love it. So that's gonna stay. I haven't even used this one yet. And last from Glamlight, I have the Michaela palette, the green one. This is part 2, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because the first one, yeah. I want to play with this. It's a green to purple palette, but I think it could be fun. And I haven't used it much at all, so I need to. So this is gonna stay. And the last batch of palettes I pulled is Blend Money. So I have the All Done Up palette. I have the Lure palette. I have the Forget Me Not palette, which has warped. So that's a bummer. I don't like to store my palettes laying down. I like to stand them up like books, but I guess some of these just can't do it. And then I have Primal and Sugar and Grunge, which is also doing that weird warping thing. And then I have Surge, which I saw today when I'm filming this, that she said there are 90 left in their like warehouse or whatever. So if you wanted Surge, you could still get it, but then that's it. And then we have Blends and the Dollhouse. I'm not a completionist, like, generally speaking, but I do think I'm probably gonna pick up the last 2 Blend Money launches at some point because I think I would really enjoy playing with them, and maybe a tiny little piece of my heart is a completionist. All right, should I do another batch? Yes. Okay, from the last batch of palettes I did, it was pretty easy to keep track. I only got rid of 2, and I kept 28. Now this batch of palettes, I think, is going to be the opposite. There are some that are no-brainers I will never get rid of, and then there are some that I just have to. So this will be the last batch for today. I'll have to do the next part on another day when I have more energy. First up, we have the Pat McGrath. Which one are you? Celestial Nirvana. I wish these palettes weren't so hard to open. That would be helpful. And they're heavy. So there's Celestial Nirvana. I'm so bummed she opted, if she's even still around, not to do these palettes this year. I think they're great. And then we have Celestial Odyssey, which again, super hard to open. And that's what that one looks like. It's such a beautiful palette. They're all beautiful. And the first one was Celestial Divinity, which, this was my first Pat McGrath palette because she finally made one that us regular folk could afford, which was really exciting. And I almost didn't get it because I was like, okay, if she's making one for the poor people, or you know what I mean, like I'm using that term very, very loosely, please don't get mad. Because that's still, it's an $80 palette. How good can it be? But then at the last minute, I was like, all right, I want to get it and try it. I may never have the opportunity to try Pat McGrath again. So I did. And yeah, I feel like, I don't think she's at the helm anymore. I think something else or someone else has taken over. So anyway, I'm going to keep all three of those for sure. Next, I have the Profusion Spectrum palette. It's just a rainbow palette. Profusion has really good formula for a lot of their palettes, but I'm going to declutter this one. I have rainbow palettes that I reach for over this one in the Blend Bunny. So, and then I have this Violet Voss, the rainbow palette my bestie gave me. And it's like, you know, it's a rainbow palette, but it's all shimmer shades, and the white is kind of a duochrome. So I'm going to hang on to this one. Even if it's just sentimentality, it's staying. Next up, I have the Oloria one. Oh, this color story is so pretty. Man. I don't think I've used this. I've swatched it. I think I'm going to declutter it, but I'm going to make a note to pair these colors together. Actually, no, I'm going to do like a picture of it right now. Yeah, so I'm going to declutter this one. And then I have the Zulu from Juvia's Place. Oh, jeez. They just look so fun. Oh my gosh. Again, I have these shades that I reach for over this one. And I know somebody else could really, really enjoy these palettes. I'm not going to keep that one. And then I have this Beauty Bay Dark Fantasy palette. Every single time I reach for this, I think I haven't used it much. I should use it. And then every single time when I check to see what I used last time, I've used this a bunch. It doesn't stay in my head. I think my first video was 6 looks. It was completely gone. I had no memory of it. So I'm going to declutter this. There's obviously something with this palette in my brain that do not work together. So next I have the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. That's a pretty palette. I think this one might make the cut. I think it's gonna stay. I have the Latte 2. Again, so pretty. Why? I think the Latte 2 is gonna stay as well. And then we have the Berries and Cream, which I just used in my Throwback Thursday video, which I am comfortable decluttering this one. It's very nice. I liked the look. I mean, as far as like funky look goes, I did like it. But I really, really like the 2 latte palettes a lot. So that tells me the berries and cream can go. All right, next up, I have the Gothic palette from what was Cosmic Brushes is now Cosmic Beauty. So good. This one is not going anywhere. None of the Cosmic Brushes are. They're delightful. Oh, speaking of which, Delicious Delights. Again, my purple is smashed, but I love this palette. So when I did the video of all the palettes I got this year, I included looks. So if you do check that out, there are looks in there. And then we have Muse. We have Serenity, the newest one, Winter Wonderland, and Royal Rose. I genuinely love these palettes. Like, the formula of the mattes and the shimmers are spectacular. So good. I will not be decluttering my Cosmic Beauty palettes probably ever. All right, let's keep rolling. Next we have the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism palette. This is one I actually wanted to try, and it came in a mystery box. It's a gorgeous palette. I think I'm gonna hang on to this one. I really do like it. And then we have the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. This is the original one. I have to keep this one. I genuinely enjoyed it and used it a boatload. And it's like history, right? This is a very good palette. It could have been cut down a bit, but yeah. I'm gonna keep that one. And then we have the Violet Voss HG palette. I have not used this in a while, but it's a beautiful, beautiful palette. Oh my gosh. I wish Violet Voss was still doing this because the quality was fantastic. Nothing to complain about. I mean, nothing to write home about, nothing spectacular and revolutionary, but good eyeshadows. But I'm gonna declutter this one since I am keeping several other like neutral palettes. And I have the Laura Lee Nudie Patootie palette. I used to have all of her palettes. I used this one in a Throwback Thursday, I think, trying to decide if I wanted to declutter it or not. I decided not to, but I think it's time. I haven't reached for it in ages. Then we have the 12 Days of Lunar from Lunar Beauty, which is a pretty interesting palette. I mean, as far as boring palettes go, this one's pretty interesting, so I think I'm gonna hang on to it. I haven't had it that long, just like a year. So that can stay. And then I have the Ace Beauté Flare palette, which I just used in a Throwback Thursday video not too long ago. So I'll be keeping this one too. This is great quality as well. Really, really like this. And we have the Tati Beauty palette. This sucker is so heavy. Holy moly. I'm not going to declutter this out of my house. I am going to declutter it to just like the memories, makeup history, like whatever. There are some things I just can't get rid of, and this is one of them. But I don't love it now. Nor do I love Tati. Last one for this video is the Miss Claus The Lit List. This palette is ginormous. If you haven't been here for a very long time, this is one of my favorite palettes ever. It's so huge, but this was when BH was just doing amazing. The only shade in here I have not used is this red glitter in the middle, nor will I. That's it. All of the rest I've used and I've loved. So let me figure out how many are staying and how many are going, and I will let you know in a second. So of this batch, there are 17 staying and 8 leaving my collection. So part 1 of my palette collection declutter, I am getting rid of 36 palettes and I'm keeping 56, right? Yep, 56. So that's pretty good. It's pretty darn good. All right, let's wrap this up here. I have no idea how long this is going to be, but hopefully not an annoyingly long time. And I'll be back soon with part 2. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Either way, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Be good and remember to be kind to you.